Hey everyone, let's take a look at this example over here. This is question number 6 from your section 1.2 homework, and this is just a sample problem that I have selected. Your problem will be similar, but obviously your numbers will be different. So let's take a look at this. So as you can see, they are telling us in a high school, a survey was taken of 127 students to find out which sports they liked. So as you can see, your total, for the number of students that we're going to break down is going to be 127. So I'm just going to write this here just to keep a check. So first they're telling us the survey showed all the students who liked wrestling also liked football. So they're telling you all the students who liked wrestling also liked football. So this actually tells you that all the students who are wrestling are going to be contained inside of the students who like football. So that actually tells us it's going to be right here between these two. So since all of wrestling is inside football, that tells us, and I'm just going to use a different color here. So that tells us that this little circle is going to be all the students who like wrestling, and the larger outer circle is going to be all the students who like football, okay? Now they are telling us of those who like wrestling, 8 also liked baseball. So that's going to be the overlap. So they're telling you those students, who like wrestling, 8 of them also like baseball. And you can see wrestling is overlapping with the circle B over here. So that obviously tells us B is going to represent baseball. And if B is going to represent baseball, then obviously that only leaves us with circle A. And as you can imagine, that's going to be the last one, which is going to be basketball. So we can start by identifying, each one of these circles, and now we'll start working with numbers. So they're telling us out of those who liked wrestling, 8 also liked baseball. So as I mentioned before, that's going to be the overlap between wrestling and baseball, which means it's going to go over here. So those are going to be your 8 students. And I'm actually just going to put a, maybe just underline it so we know we've already used that number. So of those 8 who like baseball, we got that placed in our little overlapping circle. Now they're telling us there are 44 students who like basketball. So the total for basketball is going to be 44. And they're telling us students who like basketball, of those, 28 liked football. So that's going to be the overlap between basketball and football. So you can see, of course, that's going to be this little section over here. So out of the 44 students who like basketball, 28 of them also like football. So that means 28 is going to go over here. And then that means out of the 44, since you have 28 who liked football, also you're going to subtract 28 from 44, and let's see what that comes out to be. So 44 minus 28 will give us 16, which means you have only 16 students who like just basketball. So that takes care of these two numbers here, the 28 and the 44. None of the students who liked basketball liked wrestling or baseball. And we can see that because you can look at the basketball circle and there's no overlap between basketball with wrestling or baseball, right? So all the students who like basketball, they do not like wrestling or baseball. So that confirms that we picked the right circle for our basketball students. Okay, now let's move on to the next one. Now they're telling us there were 82 students who liked football. So there's a total of 82 students who liked football. 27 of them only liked football. So because that tells you that whole entire circle C should add up to a total of 82, because that would be, any of the overlapping students who like basketball and baseball, students who liked wrestling, including football. So that should add up to a total of 82. Now they're telling us 27 of them only liked football. So that means it's not going to be in any of the overlapping areas. That 27 is going to fall right here. So 27 of them only liked football. So what we now have to do is figure out how much are we left behind with, right? So from that total of 82, you will subtract that 28, which is overlapping between basketball, football. So we're going to subtract 28 from that. We're, of course, going to subtract 27, which is the students who only liked football. And then we're also going to subtract that 8, which was students who liked football, wrestling, and baseball. So that was all 3 of those. And that's going to be 8. So let's subtract these guys. You have 82 minus 28 minus 27, and then, of course, minus 8. And that leaves us with 19 students. However, that is not complete yet. And I'll tell you why. Because they're telling us the last part, which is there are 42 students who liked baseball, and 29 of them only liked baseball. So actually, that's wrong. There are 42 students who liked baseball. Okay, so total of 42 who like baseball. Let's move it closer so we know we're talking about baseball students here. Okay, so 42 who like baseball, and 29 of them only like baseball. So 29 of them only like baseball, which means 29 will go here, right? Because they only like baseball, which means there's no overlap with wrestling and football. So you're going to be subtracting 29 from this 42. But you will see that 8 also falls within the circle of baseball, because those 8 were the students who liked wrestling and baseball. And then, of course, all of them like football. So you're going to subtract that 8 also from this. And that will end up giving us, let's see, 42 minus 29 minus 8. So that's going to be a total of 5 students that are left behind. And that 5 is actually going to go in this area here, which is going to be the overlap between just football and baseball. So you can see that 5 also needs to be subtracted from this total of football students, because that obviously falls into the football circle. So 19 minus 5 will, of course, give us 14. And that's going to be the remaining number of students, which will actually go in that little circle for the wrestling, which is part of the football. So that 14 will actually go over here. And you can see that gives us 14 and 8 for the total. And remember, your question is asking you, and I can scroll down here, determine the number of students who like wrestling. So your wrestling is going to be everything that's inside that little circle D. So that's going to be 14 plus 8. And as you can imagine, that comes out to be a total of 22. 14 plus 8 will give you 22. And that's what you're going to enter over here. So let's come back to our question over here. And let's see, we had 22. So let's type that in. And we'll submit our answer, and you can see that comes out to be correct. Now, of course, you can select your letters over here based on how we defined A, B, C, and D for each of the sports. So just select those over here and you are good to go. But I just wanted to show you how you would need to do your math so you can come up with, the number of students who like wrestling. And if they change that from wrestling to baseball, football, baseball, just add up the numbers that are in the circle for that sport and you will get your total. Now, I just wanted to show you, if you do this correctly, then your total should come out to be 127, because that's how many students you started out with. So you can see I'm going to start on the left-hand side with the basketball circle. So we had a total of 16 students plus the 28 within the basketball circle. Now moving on to football, we've already counted that 28, so you don't need to repeat that. Then we have 27. Let's see, then you had 14 and 8. Then we have the 5, and that takes care of football and wrestling. And then the last part we had was the 29 from just the baseball circle. So let's go ahead and add all these numbers together and make sure, you know, it adds up to 127. So we've got 16 plus 28 plus 27, let's see, plus 14 plus 8 plus 5, and then the last one was 29, and it adds up to 127, and that tells us everything that we did inside the circle was definitely correct, and you can get your answer. So I hope this helps you guys out. Good luck, and you know, anytime you have any questions, do not hesitate to reach out to me. All right, take care, everyone. Have a great day. Bye-bye.